Have you ever found yourself in the middle of an argument and think to yourself, how did we even get here? Maybe it started with dishes, laundry, or that they took forever to respond to your text. Something that seems small, but next thing you know, you're in a full-blown argument. And this is a fight you've had hundreds of times before. If this sounds familiar to you, chances are you may not be arguing about what you think you're arguing about. Hi, my name is Lulu. I help couples create secure relationships through breathwork. Today, we'll talk about what's actually happening beneath the conflict and why so many couples get stuck in the same argument over and over again. And I'll show you how to use your breath to navigate these conflicts differently. One of the biggest mistakes I see is that couples think that they're arguing about the thing they're arguing about, whether it be the dishes, laundry, text messages, or money. But chances are that's almost never what's actually happening. When someone is upset about the dishes not being done, they're not usually upset about the dishes. They're upset about what the dishes mean. Can you see how exhausted I am? Am I not important enough for you to notice what I need? Or maybe your partner doesn't text back for a few hours. Logically, you know they're probably busy at work or at an event they're attending. But emotionally, you're starting to wonder, am I important to you? The deeper questions underneath are usually, do I matter to you? Do you care about me? Are you going to be there for me? If I can't trust you with small things, how can I trust you with big things? So to deal with feeling rejected, abandonment, or even unseen or unheard, we start to protect ourselves by criticizing, blaming, or getting louder and louder, trying to get our message through to our partners. And we see our partners getting defensive, shut down, or even withdrawn completely. So at the end, we feel even more distant and disconnected and just having another version of the same fight. So let me show you how this looks like in real life. Jane walks home after a long day at work. Work was stressful. She was dealing with a couple of challenging problems as usual. She knows she needs to help her kids with homework, and there's a couple other things that she still needs to get done, and she's already feeling overwhelmed. She walks into the kitchen and sees dishes piled up in the sink, and she immediately feels alone in everything that she's carrying. So Jane says to John, why haven't you done the dishes yet? They're still piled up in the sink. Now, John hears that very differently than Jane has intended, which is, I'm overwhelmed and I need support. John hears, you're failing, you're not doing enough. So immediately John gets defensive and says, can I just walk into the door? I just got back. So now Jane feels even more alone than before she said anything about the dishes. Because she's hearing, I don't care that you're struggling. So Jane pushes harder. I worked all day too. I still have a report to finish. And I still need to help the kids with homework. Why am I just doing everything by myself? By this point, John doesn't know what to say. He's been in this conversation before. He thinks anything he says will make the situation worse. So he starts to scroll on his phone. Or maybe he becomes silent. Jane doesn't experience John's silence as overwhelm. She experiences it as abandonment. Neither person gets the support they're needing. What started as a conversation about dishes ends up being a painful night for both people, where they're feeling hurt, lonely, and disconnected. And this is a fight that they've had so many times before. And that is a cycle. If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that the cycle is the problem, not Jane or John, the cycle itself. When couples don't understand this cycle, they spend years figuring out who is wrong. And when they see the cycle clearly, you can then have a powerful shift. You stop fighting each other and start to fight for the relationship together. So what do you do when you notice yourself getting pulled into this cycle? Number one, if you're Jane, before saying anything about dishes, about laundry, or about them not texting back, I want you to stop. I want you to stop saying anything at all and take 3 deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Slow and steady. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Do it with me. And out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose, allowing the belly to expand, the rib cage to expand out and around, and out through the mouth. If you're feeling particularly activated, maybe numbness and tingling your hands and feet, or feeling your hands getting cold, or maybe you feel your heart racing, tightness in your chest, or a feeling of tightness or constriction in your throat, I want you to take 3 physiological sighs. This is one of the most effective breaths that we know in reducing stress in real time. In through the nose, allowing the belly to rise, the ribcage to expand out and around, allowing the breath to fill you up all the way to the top. And when you're at the top, take another sharp inhale, like that, beautiful, and let it out through the mouth, slow and steady. Again, in through the nose, allowing the belly to rise, ribcage to expand out and around. One more. These 3 breaths will create the time and space for us to settle our nervous system before we do anything that damages our relationship and not getting the support on top of it. Next, I want you to ask yourself, what is really going on for you? What am I actually upset about right now? Because I know you know by this point in the video that it's not about the dishes, it's not about the laundry, and it's not about the text messages. And actually, it's not even about what your partner did or didn't do. It's something deeper that's underneath all this. For example, if your partner hasn't texted you back all day, and you're feeling the urge to send another 5 text messages and call a few times to get him to respond to you, instead of acting on that urge, take a moment to ask yourself what is really going on. Maybe you're struggling with the intense feelings of disconnection. This is especially true if you're anxiously attached. Or maybe you're really wanting reassurance, that you feel anxious and you want to hear that you are still important to them. So when we can identify what's going on underneath the situation, we can then actually have a better chance of getting their need met. Which leads us to the next part, which is expressing what you need. This is the most difficult part, but also the most powerful. Underneath criticism, blame, frustration, or even anger, there's usually something vulnerable underneath. Maybe what you're really trying to say is, I need to know that I matter to you. This conversation feels much more vulnerable, which is why it's much more difficult. It's easier to say, why haven't you done the dishes, than to say, I feel overwhelmed and I need support with tasks around the house. But it's also much easier for your partner to respond to them. So next time when you feel irritated or angry, before you say anything to your partner, before you pick up the phone and text them anything, take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself 2 questions. What do I feel? Maybe it's overwhelm, hurt, or sadness. And what do you need? Is it quality time? Is it for them to finish the dishes before the end of the night? And ask for that directly. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that the cycle is the problem, not you or your partner. And once you become aware of this cycle, it begins the foundation of building a secure and long-lasting relationship. When you learn to regulate your nervous system and express the need underneath the situation, conflict becomes an opportunity for deeper connection. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more content on breathwork, nervous system regulation, attachment, and creating secure, long-lasting relationships. I'll see you in the next video.